very much. And Deb, I know we're going to do a recap here. I think I need 3 hours to like debrief all of this, but
Yeah.
what are you thinking?
Well, actually, while we still have everybody, what I'd really like you to talk about right now is the type of information you need people to put on their profiles. And also, just to remind everybody, if you sign up, it's a 2-step process. You're going to sign up, and then what will happen is you'll get a confirmation email. And from that confirmation email, you can log into your profile and set it up. And since you're matching everybody and literally by hand, whether Kelly needs to call people and get more information, that is what she's doing to make sure that these relationships start off with the potential of being as successful as possible. But let's help you a little more by, sharing what do you need to know from people?
Yeah, so thank you. The profile itself does go into quite a bit of detail about your role within the organization, how long you've had the experience that you've had, and whether you're seeking to be a mentor or a mentee. So a lot of that is pull down menus and boxes to check. And then there's a section that says, what are the issues that are most concerning to you or that you feel like you have the most expertise in? So the more that you fill out of that profile, including contact information and including, if possible, I don't know if there's a place on there, but I'm looking at LinkedIn profiles, right? In addition to looking at your application or your profile itself, I'm looking at your LinkedIn so that I can try to understand as much about you as a person to try to find the best possible match for you. And so one of the things that I've noticed, again, the vast majority of the profiles so far have not had any information filled out on them. So I've been doing the ancillary, research, and I'll admit to this. I've made an assumption that like, oh, here's this person over here and they have 20 years of experience. They must have meant to sign up as a mentor, and come to find out, no, actually, this person is looking for a mentor. So I don't want to make any assumptions, but I am reaching out to people individually, asking for more information, encouraging people to go back and fill out their profiles, but I'll find you. And eventually, again, as she mentioned, I'm doing this manually. Yeah. So we're talking hours and hours and hours, and I'm happy to do, it's really exciting and interesting. But the more information you provide in the profile, the easier this will be for me. So yeah, thank you.
Yeah, no, Kelly will find you, believe me.
Oh yeah.
Just incredible. The dedication that you have to this, and coming out of this pandemic and looking at the fact that women have been displaced from the workforce and aren't coming back in the same numbers, aren't coming back at the same jobs, aren't coming back at the same salaries. It is really never been more important that we help each other. And, obviously the image that you had everybody conjure in their minds about, we all stand on somebody's shoulders, and it is our time to be the anchor here. Mm-hmm. And that is why we're moving from ally to accomplices. We have to do more to help each other and make sure that we're the ones going for job interviews, and we're the ones getting raises, and we're the ones getting the big clients, and we're the ones speaking at events and gracing the covers of trade show magazines and everything else that is not happening in droves. And I've been having crazy arguments lately about that essentially boils down to visibility is not what this is really about. It's just about saying, look, I put a woman in front of everybody and look at me. And first of all, if that's how a woman gets somewhere, okay, take advantage of every door that's open for you and kick another one open from that opportunity, and know to never work with those people again if you were used in that manner. However, and by the way, what do I mean by that? Look at an event schedule, see the experts, see the keynote speakers, and see the 5 women listed as speakers, all relegated to a woman in print event, session. Usually it's a breakfast, which I never understand. Why do the women have to get up at 7:30 in the morning? And also, it's out of the event. It's literally saying, this is something not happening in the event because it's for women, and it's not really the case. At the D-Scoop breakfast, by the way, there was about 50% men and 50% women, which I thought was amazing, but that's also because there wasn't a lot of women at the event. So it's so important that we start really making these things happen and getting a little louder with our collective voices. And we have 9,000 women who I really want to start, respectfully, like I'm trying to do is create event scorecards, create scorecards that we, do privately, and we make a score, and then we'll go to the events, or we'll go to the trade associations or the medias or the medias, wherever we have to go, and we say, we just want to let you know that you've scored a 3 out of 5 with all the women in print based upon these criteria. And it's up to you what you do about that, but just know that we're watching, and maybe we can move the needle in that manner. But we move the needle the most by having women in those positions, not allowing any of the bullshit to happen. Everybody gets paid the same. You need to go home for your kid. We've got you. We're not going to penalize you for that, And by the way, a guy too, you need to go home for your kid. We've got you, And that goes back to what Suchi was saying about culture and understanding that might be the type of place you want to work. So just we're going to wrap this up now, but just Kelly, looking at the succession of the conversations that we've had today, what are some of your takeaways, which I'm always really interested in hearing?
I mean, here's the thing. I think that what many of the women that spoke today talked about is that we need to get a little more full of ourselves. We need to self-advocate and really celebrate our strengths internally, and use our voices to, to celebrate that and make sure everyone knows it. I mean, here's something that's really sad. As somebody who grew up in the 70s, you were conceited if you thought a lot of yourself. It was considered a big negative to be too full of yourself, to think too much of yourself, and now, I mean, I'm looking at some of the young women that we talked to today. That was not their experience. Thankfully, I'm so glad. And I'm so glad to know that.
And I'm sorry to interrupt you, but I specifically told you that it was Jasmine and MC and Yaroslava that literally told me to get over myself, and go and if people were complimenting me, not to be like, oh, yes, that, and to embrace what was being said to me and take
yes,
power in
and
that.
Celebrate it.
Yes,
because
it was
it's
difficult,
so
though.
Baked in, because all of it, us making ourselves small, us agreeing to plan the parties, us agreeing to do all this invisible work is baked in to how we were raised and how we, how it just was for so long. And now's the time where we get to go, not anymore. Let Jim order the birthday cake. Let this guy plan the joy committee next month, right? That fair is fair, right? And so it is us giving ourselves permission to kind of rebel against that. Somebody earlier asked about what are my strengths if my strength is rebellion?
Right.
Your strength right now is to demand fairness, because again, we're only asking for it to be fair. We're only asking for equity. We're only asking for fairness.
Right.
And again, I took a lot of notes. About some of the really amazing things, like what Amy was talking about with that strength scorecard. I'm going to look into that, because I feel like it's so interesting that they talked about being hired for your strengths and assessed by your weaknesses.
Totally.
Blowing my mind.
And that's how you function. You don't function like how I'm going to do my best to contribute the best way I can. You function by, damn it, if I don't do that, they're going to get me on that.
Yeah. Or where am I falling down, or where am I
Yeah.
weak, or where am I not where I'm supposed to be? And that's in life in general. That one of the things, I think about, and I see this in a lot of stuff where, they're talking about women's relationships, that we're like, what if you treated yourself as well as your best friend treats you? And that, and again, I had so many thoughts about, the fact that, men tend to, manage up and women tend to manage down, that men are, some crazy amount more likely to apply for jobs they're not qualified for if they have one of the traits or one of the skills, whereas a woman will demand, instead of putting them, before they put themselves forward for a job, they'll think they have to have like 80% of the skills. Right. So yeah, I think these are going to be, small steps that we take, but I hope that everyone, again, starts to become their own best cheerleader, and advocating for themselves. And that thing about not speaking up in meetings is massive. How many times you sit on a Zoom and go, and I've learned this a lot at Deb through being sitting in a lot of town council meetings too, is it only took about 2 months for me to be like, I'm going to say something right now. And a couple times someone kind of put their arm to the side, like, hold on, because you get really, worked up about things. And I think that we do, I don't think we should ever apologize for speaking up.
No, and that is exactly where we're going now. And it is totally fair that everybody is in different points in their career, in their life, in their commitment to anything. We love allies. We want all the allies we can get. Come be an ally. But if you want to be an accomplice or you want to be an advocate, now please, let's do something about this. We have to change things. They're not going to change for us. No one's looking out for anybody but themselves. And we have learned through creating community that there is, strength in numbers. There's reasons why these things are expressions. And we just are so grateful that all of you have, joined us in our mission to empower the women of print. I thank you all so much. Kelly, you're right. For most of the day, we had about 40 women here, but there were over 150 that registered in just a day and a half, by the way. I only opened up registration. I mean, at this point now, that's fine with me. People who wanted the live experience can have it, but I play to the replay crowd these days.
Exactly.
Anyhow. So, I mean, for everything that we discussed here, it's going to be exponentially seen and shared, and it all matters, and you all matter out there. Kelly, you matter to me too. And yes, we have an informal mentor-mentee relationship, but it goes both ways. I learn a lot from you as well, and I just want to thank you for your dedication to this mentoring program. I mean, it would not be happening if it wasn't for you. So thank you so much. And thank you, everybody. It's 2:00 on the dot. I'm ending this meeting.
Girl, you are on it.
Woo!